Hi, how you doing, and welcome back to another video on the channel. What we have for you today is our weekly video where we take a look at the three most transferred in FPL players and the three most transferred out FPL players this game week, and we talk about what we would do, whether we wanted to buy them, if we own them, whether we would sell them, and whether that would be on a free transfer or on a wildcard. So if it does help you out, please do subscribe, like the video. The support has been awesome this season, and we're a small channel trying to grow, so it really is noticed and appreciated. Hopefully we can keep it going throughout the Christmas fixtures. Let's take a look at player number one. So the first player on this list is Mo Salah. He's the most transferred in out of all FPL players this game week, with 260,000 managers bringing him in, and with good reason. 14 attacking returns in 11 games, and that goes alongside 6 clean sheets for Liverpool, which does make a difference as a midfield player because you get that extra point just to keep you ticking along. And you could make a case for bringing him in this week just for Southampton alone. That's a fantastic fixture for Liverpool, and you wouldn't bank against Mo Salah getting attacking returns in there. And really, after that, Man City at home might not look ideal, but Man City aren't playing well, and I think you definitely want to own Liverpool players rather than Man City players for that fixture, especially with it being at Anfield. After Man City, the fixtures do get better, but one thing you do have to bear in mind is that from about game week 17 onwards, Mo Salah will probably be at the Africa Cup of Nations for Egypt. That probably goes all the way up till game week 22, depending on how far Egypt get. So you just don't want to have a nasty surprise, around December time, not leaving yourself enough free transfers in the bank to plan and swap him out, because otherwise you're going to lose team value and you're probably not going to be able to make the transfers you want in time to take advantage of all the points you could get. Our next player on this list is Bruno Fernandes. He's the second most transferred in player this game week, just behind Mo Salah, with 210,000 managers bringing him in. And that's probably because a lot less people already own him. There's a lot more people who would want to bring him in. And you're getting him in at a good time. I'm not really too surprised that he got attacking returns against Leicester, so I would question, if you're bringing him in this week, why didn't you bring him in for the Leicester fixture? And if you're on a wild card, that's a little bit different, but a free transfer, maybe you should have already had him in your team. The fixtures are a little bit mixed, and we're banking on Amarin and his strategy, meaning that Bruno Fernandes has to expend less energy defensively and can put more effort into going forward and getting those goals and assists, which as FPL managers we really want to see in our midfielders. Would I be getting him in? Yeah, I would. I don't think it's too late. I think you just maybe need to be aware that it might not work out, and he is at a bit of an awkward price point. He's not quite your premium midfielders, your Sakas, your Sons, players like that. But if you wanted to take one of those out for Bruno Fernandes and then spend the money elsewhere, that's a good option. But it is a bit of a tricky price point if you're looking to improve a player like a Smith Rowe or a Semenyo, one of those cheaper midfielders up to 8.4 million Bruno Fernandes. That is a little bit tricky. So it depends on your team structure and how much you want him in right now, or whether you just want to wait and see and have less of a gamble and see how he does in the immediate few fixtures going forward under the new manager. So the third player on this list, and the third most transferred in player so far this game week, is Johan Visser. And I kind of don't see it. I would say even that Everton game away, that's not an easy fixture for Brentford, because Everton have really started tightening up that defence in recent game weeks. And Johan Visser kind of just seems like the most recent striker that everybody wants to get in. We've had Jamie Vardy, we've had Raul Jimenez, we've had Calvert-Lewin, we've had Chris Wood. Now we've got Johan Visser, probably for the second time this season, because before he got injured, he was on everyone's teams as well. Now, even though the next two fixtures you could maybe make a justification for getting him in, from that point onwards, it does get tough, and I think in a few game weeks you're going to want to be taking him out of your team for the next 5.4, 5.5 million striker. I would probably just go for someone like João Pedro or Danny Welbeck now, rather than Johan Visser, and you take advantage of Brighton's good fixtures moving forward. So the first player on our most sold list is Erling Haaland, and it kind of makes sense really. If Salah's on the most bought in list, you've probably got Haaland on the most sold list in order to create funds for Salah. So if that's the way you're doing it, I do get it, and I think as disappointing as it is to take Haaland out and as risky as it feels, I think it is a good move. Spurs and Liverpool, they're not, Spurs are okay. You would still think Haaland will score against them at home. Liverpool away is different, and Nottingham Forest have an okay defence as well. I would just have a bit of a plan in place on how you're going to bring him back in, because from game week 18 onwards, you really will want him, because that's when Salah will go to the Africa Cup of Nations and everyone's going to get Haaland back in his team, and you don't want to get priced out of that. So it's really, do you move early, maybe for game week 15 for the Palace game, or do you risk it and leave it a little bit later, hoping to take advantage of Salah's better fixtures and then bringing Haaland in? As long as you've got enough free transfers and you're not having to take a hit or get priced out, I would just put that plan in place just as a bit of a safety net, and then you can always move quicker if you feel like you're missing out on Haaland's points. So the second most transferred out player this game week is Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's been sold by 210,000 managers, and I kind of understand it a little bit. Bit of a strange one to take him out before Southampton, and I don't know whether that's because he got taken off in the last game week and people are just sort of knee-jerking him out before his price drops. But I don't see the worst situation ever if you were to hang on to him. I know he's been disappointing this game week because he has been playing quite a lot of minutes, and the assists have been dropping over the last couple of seasons. A few years ago he was getting 15 assists, which is crazy for a defender. That's almost one every 2 games. Last season I think he got single digit assists, maybe even 5-6 assists the whole season, and this season we've just got 1 in the first 11 games. So it's a bit like the Haaland situation in the sense that maybe you feel like you're not getting good value for money, and if you feel like you can use the Trent money elsewhere and you've got a plan for that and you've got the free transfers for that, then yeah, by all means take him out. But I wouldn't just be taking him out for a hit, and I definitely wouldn't be doing that before Southampton game. I would just be waiting and seeing what the injury news is. If he's injured and we find that out nearer the deadline, then yeah, take him out. Otherwise, I would at the least just wait and see. And if he drops down 0.1 million, it's not the end of the world, because he's still $1 million more expensive than any other defender in the game. So the last player on our list today is Dwight McNeil, and a few weeks ago he was on our most transferred in list. He was someone who was scoring goals in bunches and getting the assists, and he looked to be such an important part of Everton's attack, and those attacking returns have kind of dried up in recent game weeks. That combined with that run of fixtures coming up, even with Brentford at home, Man United away, Wolves at home, we talk about how good Wolves fixtures are, and Everton are a part of that run. So yeah, I would transfer out Dwight McNeil. I think even if it's on a free transfer, I would do it. I wouldn't maybe take a points hit for it, because I wouldn't expect the player you're getting in for that same price to score 4 more points than Dwight McNeil in the next game. But Brentford at home, they are conceding goals, so whether you want to just leave it an extra game, we can take him out for that Man United game away, is a personal choice. But for me, I think you do need to take him out of your team sooner rather than later. So that's all the players for this game week, the most transferred in and most transferred out. So let me know if you've got any transfer questions as well. Hopefully you've had a good season so far, but if you haven't, what are your plans for this season? Are you planning on what rank aim are you going for by the end of it? And if you've not had a great one, are you wildcarding as well? And are you making those transfers? And what are you thinking moving forward? So let me know in the comments any questions. Thank you very much for listening. Please do like and subscribe. Go check out our latest videos. Should be on the screen right about now. And I will see you in the next one.